Good evening, YouTube. HeirofCarthage here, bringing you some live Rome Total War action. I am commentating this after the fact, although the footage you are watching is live. I actually have 3 battles to show you live, and I've got the replay for 2 of them. So during the live portion, I'll kind of be talking about Rome 2 Total War and what I hope and expect there. And then during the replay portion, I will break down the tactics. Of course, you watching the live version, you'll be able to determine whether or not you felt like my tactics went well. The player I'm playing against tonight is Peanut. All 3 games were against him, and I'll explain it a little more, of course, when I get into the sections that I've already recorded. So I do hope you enjoy this. So Rome 2 Total War is upcoming. They've started announcing factions. They've started releasing certain factions. We know that and of course, I'm not going to use the names that they use because I'll probably butcher them and can't pronounce them all right, but we know that there's going to be the Germanians are making a return, the Britons are making a return, of course the Romans and the Carthaginians, the Macedonians making a return, and then the Gauls are making a return. They've yet to announce the last 2 factions, and when they're announcing these factions, I don't know if that means these are the only factions in the game or the only playable factions, or maybe just the main campaign factions. It's really hard to say at this point. I haven't read deep enough into it, and some of you may already know the answer to that. But yeah, that's what we know so far. So obviously the faction I'm most excited about is Carthage. It shouldn't be a big surprise since you're on the Heir of Carthage Total War channel. But yeah, I'm excited about them. However, I'm excited to see a game that has been remade with, unit or time appropriate units. Maybe I said that wrong. I'm trying to think. So period appropriate units. How about that? I think that they're going to remake it with period appropriate units, now with a few exceptions. I did see that the Carthaginian Sacred Band is going to make an appearance, which technically by the time of the Punic Wars there really wasn't a Sacred Band, but I guess you got to put up with a few of those things. However, I think they're going to do a good job with it overall. The game is looking fantastic. If you want to see screenshots and stuff, of course, you can go to the Total War website. They've got a Rome Total War 2 wiki site that's got information about the factions. There's lots of really neat stuff out there. Some awesome screenshots. So I think that the things that Rome 2 is going to bring to the table that we've never seen before is epic siege battles. And when I say epic, I don't mean like it's more fun, kind of like it was on Shogun 2. I mean epic in the sense that if you haven't seen the pictures, you need to go look. It's like the city of Carthage is not going to be modeled after just some basic town that they put on there. It's going to be modeled after the real city of Carthage, and it's going to be huge. Or if you siege Rome, I'm assuming it's going to be the same thing. So siege battles are going to take on a whole new form. They're also going to take on a new form in the fact that you can combine naval and land battles into the same battle, which is going to be absolutely wicked awesome. So you're going to be able to do marine landings while you're trying to siege the city, which, that's just going to be amazing. So awesome idea, and in order to make naval battles a little more interesting, CA is saying that in this one, whenever you have one ship card, for like one unit, it's not going to be one ship. One unit card for ships might equate, like 4 or 5 biremes or triremes or whatever it is that you've got in the game, to try and make those battles feel more epic as well. So you've got naval landings. Of course, naval battles are going to be exciting because it's going to be all down to arrows, slings. I'm assuming there might be some catapults involved, and then ramming. So it's going to be all about wind, position. It's going to be very interesting, I think. And of course, the Romans came up with the whole Corvus idea that finally helped them defeat the Carthaginians at sea. It's going to be really interesting. Also, you can already tell from the news that's been released that each faction is going to have kind of a specialty similar to what you see in Shogun 2. For instance, Carthage is going to have specialty in naval and trade functions within the game, so you can expect them to be very powerful at sea and also very powerful in trade, which is historically based off of some of what they did. The Romans are going to obviously going to be a powerful faction when it comes to trade as well, and I'm sure that they're going to have lots of bonuses to their land armies because they had pretty frighteningly effective armies back in the day. And then I don't have the full list of things as they go on, but I would assume each faction is going to have its own little attributes like you see between the factions in Shogun 2. I'll let you read up on those, and if you want me to bring you more news on it, I'll try and bring you more news soon. So pretty darn excited about all of those things. I think that the campaign map, I don't know how far east it's going to go. That's the one thing that I haven't quite derived yet, and again, maybe I'm just missing news that's already out there. But I'm not sure how far east the campaign map is going to go. I hope it goes far enough that you can include the Seleucids and possibly some of the other eastern factions, because honestly, from history, you know, the Roman bouts with the eastern factions were very interesting. You know, you got Mithridates, Mithridates was I guess the Pontic king who was after Rome and all that kind of stuff, and so it'd just really be interesting to see that. I hope that they make it into the game. Like I said, they've yet to announce 2 factions. Most of the factions they've released are from the west. The other faction I haven't seen yet that I hope makes its way back in is definitely the Spaniards, or I guess they should technically be called the Iberians in this case, or I would love to see the Iberian tribes make an entry. They were really poorly represented in the original Rome Total War. So I'd really love to see them represented because the Romans, of course, fashioned a lot of their arms and techniques after these Spanish tribes, or Iberian tribes, I'll call them. It wasn't known as Spain back then, but so they fashioned a lot of they took a lot of their weapons ideas and also some of their tactics and fashioned them into their own Roman version of it. And of course, the Carthaginians relied heavily on Iberian mercenaries, especially Hannibal. And of course, the Carthaginians made a fortune, you know, and resources from the Iberian Peninsula. So I really hope they make a comeback, and I also hope to see a couple of eastern factions. I'll tell you one thing that I'll be glad to not see in Rome 2 is the biblical version of the Egypt faction. I'll be glad to see them gone. So yeah, it's going to be nice to have them out of the way. That was definitely a nuisance in the original Rome Total War to kind of have like biblical Egypt when it really should have been the Ptolemaic Egypt. So that was definitely frustrating. But yeah, overall, man, the CA has made some fantastic games over the years, and I have no reason to believe that Rome 2 is going to be any less fantastic. Yes, sometimes we put up with bugs and some initial release issues, but overall, like, you have to take a look at a game like Shogun 2 Total War, and even though a lot of you may not like the Fall of the Samurai as much, I'm telling you, that game was fantastic. It really is fun, and I can play it for hours on end. Even this game I can still play for hours on end. I mean, this game is fun. Even though I've been playing it for roughly like 6 years now, I think. All of these games are great. You really just can't go wrong with any Total War title, in my opinion. And some of you are going to be like, Heir, even Medieval Total War, you hate that one. Okay, so Medieval's not my favorite time period. And I'm not a big fan of the way that game plays out as far as like characteristics and stuff, but it is fun. You know, I could definitely have hours of fun playing Medieval 2 Total War, and if you're a fan of that time period, then Medieval 2 Total War is probably a game that you have a great fondness of. So yeah, anyway, long story short, I think we have big things to expect out of Rome 2, and I think CA is really trying to deliver the next step in Total War gaming experience. Shogun 2 tried out some new ideas, and I think that they're going to try and perfect those ideas and maybe relook at some of them. I don't think it's going to be Shogun 2 that's basically just been modded for Rome. You're going to see a whole new game here, and I'm pretty excited about that, campaign-wise and everything. Now, news is still being released. We don't know all the details yet, but as I figure out more, I'll try and comment on it. But right now, I have to say that I'm pretty darn excited to see it. Like I said, go check out the screenshots. If you follow me on Twitter, every now and then I'll post the screenshots when they get released. And I know some of you don't have a Twitter account. It's fine. You don't have to follow me. You're not missing like anything great grand. But Twitter is definitely a way for you to also be notified when I upload videos. And every now and then I'll just kind of post some fun stuff on there. So if you want to, follow me there. It's @HeirTweets. Capital H, capital T, all one word. So anyway, as you can see, this battle's kind of wrapping down a little bit here. It's gonna go into a phase where well, you know what? I don't want to ruin it. Yeah, it's wrapping down. You really can't tell who's gonna win at this point. It's still up in the air, but infantry-wise, it's looking good for me. However, my opponent has a lot of slingers left, and you all have seen me get killed by missile units before when I have all infantry left. It's definitely a risk. My opponent has some cavalry on the field, and he's got missile units. So what are you all looking forward to in Rome 2? I'd love to see your comments down below. Tell me what worries you about Rome 2. Tell me what excites you about Rome 2. Who's your favorite faction? What is it that you hope to see in the game? Like, for instance, in Shogun 2 Total War, you could name your veterans in multiplayer, and you could choose how you wanted to upgrade your veterans. Do you like that? Do you hate that? What do you hope to see in Rome 2? Personally, I don't see how they could run a system like that in Rome 2, but who knows? Maybe they could. I kind of think it'd be cooler, to be honest, if they changed it to where in the campaign is where you can choose how to upgrade your men and also choose to name them. and kind of build up an avatar and campaign. For instance, say you could build up your avatar and campaign, and you all might see me take Patchy from the level of like a Quasar all the way up to, you know, the pro console and console, and eventually, you know, maybe see Patchy march on Rome itself. So I think that kind of thing would be fun. Of course, you could stylize it to each individual faction. You know, like in Macedon, maybe you have to establish your kingship. In Carthage, maybe you have to become the ruling faction amongst the noble families, and, you know, maybe you have to convince the Carthaginian councils to back you. I mean, there's lots of fun things that I think could take place. I've got no idea really what CA is planning for it, but I think that they're going to make it interesting. They've obviously got a lot of fan response over the years. They've seen the mods that we've made. I don't expect them to necessarily copy any of that, but I think that they have a good idea what the fans are looking for, and they probably got a lot of feedback that was helpful from Shogun 2 as well. So like I said, in the comments, tell me what it is that you're looking forward to with regards to the upcoming release of the game, and I would definitely like to hear what you have to say about it. Well, I mean, like I said, I hope you enjoy this, and I'm going to make these actually into several pieces. So this particular battle is going to end soon. Who's going to win is still up in the air, but obviously you can see I'm making some gains to hopefully win. But in any case, I'm going to break these up. I played Peanut, which is the guy I'm playing here. I played him 3 times. And on this particular battle, I forgot to save the afterwards replay. I was going to show you the live and afterwards, where it gives me a chance to break down the strategy afterwards. On this one, of course, I'm going to break down the strategy of what happened right now. On the other ones, I will kind of comment, just a regular commentary during the live portion, and then break down the strategy during the replay. So what happened in this battle? How did I succeed to this point? At this point, I think you can tell that unless I mess up big time, I'm going to win. So I'm going to go ahead and just let you know that yes, I am going to win this one. It is very close though. So what did I do bad? What did my opponent do bad? Well, let's start with what I did bad. I mismanaged my cataphracts, something terrible in this battle. I didn't get a good charge with them. I don't think that I upgraded them right. I only had them upgraded with some attack. And because they didn't have a lot of upgrades, they tended to rout quickly. I forgot to activate their mace attack in certain times. So I really badly mismanaged my cataphracts. Another thing that I could have done better was I could have put more pressure on the slingers and saved more of my archers, and then I could have better used my archers to help fend off his cav if I would have taken a slightly more defensive position. Now, what did I do good in this battle? Obviously, the thing that I did well was the choosing of a mix of Silver Shield Pikes and Silver Shield Legionnaires. You can see that that really paid off for me. The Pikes did a really good job of holding the center, while my Legionnaires did a good job of wrapping up the enemy infantry. As I've told you before, the Carthaginian infantry is totally superior to the Seleucid infantry and the Macedonian infantry, especially to the Seleucid infantry. So as a Seleucid, you need to be a little more creative with your infantry fight. You can definitely win it, but you have to be a little more creative, because in just a head-on, knockout fight, the Carthaginians are going to win. And of course, that's based on assuming you both have the same level of upgrades. So this battle, my Pikes did a great job of holding the center. How did they manage to hold the center against the superior Sacred Band? Some of you might be wondering, Heir, well, when you've played these guys before, you've crushed the Seleucid infantry with your Sacred Band. It's because my opponent didn't put his troops into, he didn't take them out of guard formation. So see that little red shield button down there in the bottom right? If he would have taken his Sacred Band Pikes out of that guard formation, they would have absolutely plowed through my Silver Shield Pikes, and he would have had some units left over before my Silver Shield Legionnaires were able to wrap up his flanks. So in this case, I left my Pikes on guard formation. Heir, why'd you leave your Pikes on guard formation when you're just telling us to put ours into, take them out of guard formation? Well, the reason I left mine in guard formation is because my guys are carrying a much longer pike, the Sarissa. And if I leave them in guard formation, that means that they don't scoot around, and they do better at holding their enemy at a distance, using the advantage of the long pike. So that's a way for me to help them hold out longer against superior infantry. This can be used to great effect against Roman troops, too, to hold the Roman troops in position while you're able to knock them out with a hammer and anvil strike. So that's a good thing to know. I think you need to understand how to best control the guard formation, when to use it, when not to use it. You want to use guard formation when you're looking to have a holding maneuver, and you don't want to use guard formation whenever you're looking to quickly crush someone or to hurry through an infantry fight. Some of you all might remember that back in the day I would rush a big long line of phalanx, and I would do a phalanx rush against urban cohorts just to lock them in position, and I would leave those guys in guard formation because I just want them holding the urban cohorts there until I can make a hammer and anvil strike. So hopefully this is some good information for you all who might be trying to improve your tactics on Rome Total War. And some of you may be saying, Heir, what the heck are you doing tactics on a game that was released in 2004? There's still a lot of players on this game. You can go online, like I went online tonight, I did not have any problem finding a match. And I think it's just because this time period is so classic. Plus, people are excited. They're excited for Rome 2 Total War, and they're ready to get back to this ancient warfare style here. I think Shogun 2 was great. I liked all aspects of it, Fall of the Samurai included. I know some of you didn't like the Fall of the Samurai, but I really think people are going to be very excited to get back to this classic state of warfare with all the classic factions that we know and love from history. So you can see there that I finally gained victory. Good game to my opponent. He did a good job of trying to pull this battle out, even though he got down to an early disadvantage with his infantry. And I thought that, like I said, he did a good job of trying to turn that around. In any case, I'm pretty much done on this one. There's the results. I'm going to cut it for this episode, and I will be back soon with the next episode, which will be more battles that I had against Peanut. And of course, those will be live footage, then followed by a breakdown of tactics in the afterwards replay. HeirofCarthage signing off for now.